Hey guys, hello and welcome to the channel Programming with Casey. So today in this video we are going to learn the new concept about the constructor. So this is present inside our object oriented programming language, OOPS fundamentals. So we are actually going to see this from very scratch. Okay, so let's see. So first of all we will create the class inside this OOPS fundamentals, guys. Okay, so let's create it. So guys, we had created this like class over here constructor example. So let us first understand what are the rules to write the constructor and why it is necessary, right? So basically when I say about the constructor, it means that constructor, it is invoked at the time of object creation. So I will write the status over here. So invoke at the time of object creation, right? So hold on, you will be getting this idea very clearly. So how can you create the object, right? So there is a operator, right? So you use that keyword. I would say that keyword. So new is the keyword over here, right? So using this new keyword, you initialize the object and you create the by default constructor over here, right? So new is the keyword where you what you do where you initialize, right? Initialize the object. It means the object creation, right? So when you create the object, you automatically call your default constructor, right? So default constructor is the constructor which is already present inside your program, but while you create or initialize the object, it is going to be called automatically, or it is going to be called implicitly, right? So now let us understand some of the rules. So what are the rules to create constructor? Okay, so there are some rules basically to create the constructor. So see, constructor should have the same name, right? So your class name should be the same name as the constructor name. So I would say, like over here, class name is equals to constructor name. Okay, then what is the next rule? See, the constructor must have no explicit written type. Example, not even void. When you create the method, basically, right? So there are two types to create the method. Without written type, so you use the void over here. That means that it has not going to return you any, right, any of the type over there, written type. So without using void also, or you can say basically it should not return anything explicitly, right? So like when we create the method, we actually return something, so that is also not required. So we can write like constructor must have no written type, right? So this is also the perfect. And what is the next? Okay, so now you know that it should be the same name as your class name. It should not have any written type, not even void. And your constructor cannot be abstract, final, static, or even synchronized. So I can say that it cannot be abstract or final. So remember this, right? And see, the access modifiers that can be used in constructor declaration, right? So that can be used in the constructor declaration to control its access. So you can use that. So that is like when which other class can call the constructor. So when you create the another class also, so at that time while calling, so for that purpose you can use that access modifiers like public, private, protected, whatever may be, right? So you can say that access modifiers are allowed. So access modifiers can be used in this case. Okay, so remember this thing. So I would like to comment this over here, and let us now create a constructor. And before that, creating this, see, there are two types of constructor. One is default constructor and other one is the parameterized constructor. So while you create the constructor, default constructor, it means that you are not declaring this by your own. It is already present. And parameterized constructor, like basically you are going to pass some parameters, right? And at the time of object creation you will pass the arguments. So you can create the default constructor as well, or by default it is present, right? So let us create the class. So I will create the class over here. So to understand, so I will not create the another class over here. So already I have the constructor example, so class created like that. So let us first create some method over here. So I will create some method. So create, I'm saying the create, let's say student. So I'm creating the student over here. Now you know that it is the void, right? So it will not have any written type over here. Just I am saying that sys out, and student is created like that, something. Okay, so I pass the message over is student is created. Okay, sorry, created. Yeah. So now did with this, now we created this method which has no written type. Now in this main, so we should not write this over here. So I will cut this and write inside the class but not inside the PSVM. Okay, so done. So now basically what I am going to do is I am going to create the object for this class. So uh, here you can see that this is the method, this is not the constructor. Why? Because it should not have void and it should match the same name as the class name also. So how I am going to call this? So I'm going to call this by constructor example C is equals to new constructor example, right? Okay, so constructor example C is equals to new constructor example. What it means that when you write the new keyword over here, it is calling your by default constructor over here. So this is basically calling a method. What are you doing this? So when you use this object over here C dot and you do this create student, when you do this, like, it means that you are actually calling the method, right, in this case. And in this line number 21, you are doing what? You are creating the object. So now what will be your output? So let us first check the output over here. So let us save this and check this. So student is created, right? So this was the method we did over here, right? So now what we will do, we will create a default constructor over here, right? So what do we mean by the default constructor? First of all, so see, now this is the method, you know, that void create student, that is the method. Now I am going to create the default constructor over here, so with the name of class name. So I am taking the constructor example over here, and this is the constructor example. Okay, so this is the same name as the class name, and now I am saying that do sysout and student is created. So I will write like this, student 1 is created. Okay, so I'm trying to explaining you this very basic, in a very basic manner, so please focus this. And we are also going to understand some problems also in this case. So let us understand. So student 1 is created and student is created, right? So can you see this? I had written this method first, student is created, although it has printed the student 1 is created first. Why? Because the object creation, at the time of the object creation, it will give first priority to your constructor, and then later on it will print or it will call any method. So this is the basic rule, remember this. Okay, always remember this. So now you know that how it has been called over here. So while creating the object, it will like execute mainly inside this PSVM. So whatever is written inside this PSVM, it will run or it will implement that respectively. So first it comes that calling the constructor. So it will implement the constructor. So student one is created over here, and then it is calling this object, this method with the help of object. So then it is calling that student is created. So this is according to the sequence. So it will not execute with respect to the body written inside the class. It will only execute whatever it is written inside the PSVM. With respect to that sequence, it will call and print the message. Okay, so let's have some more clarity in this. So now you know that we had called this with the help of object, right? So what if I do comment over here, and what if I want to call this constructor now? So now do I have to do something explicitly to like call this? So as you know that I had just initialized the object over here, I haven't called any method or any constructor over here. So let us see the magic over here. So when I run this, basically after saving, you will get the output, and just note what you are getting. Student 1 is created. So you know that it has been implicitly called when you actually create the object, right? So you do not have to specify this explicitly. So this was for the today. So we are going to see more examples on this. So please subscribe our channel, and if you like this video, then please do like. So we are gonna see more example in this. So thank you guys. Take care and bye bye.